When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see.
Breast cancer is unbearable. It's unacceptable. I say it every day. And I want to thank Val and all the pros and everybody for supporting efforts to change that.
No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.
One of the things that's been so inspirational to me as being part of this event is the stories. And the first event that I was at was Bridget Mooney.
Not a day goes by when I don't wish I'd heard Heather Farr's story. To hear about a young, thriving athlete at the peak of her life, that would have opened my eyes and I would have acted sooner. I needed Komen on the go. I needed Heather Farr, I needed the LPGA, and I needed Val Skinner.
I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear.
So on days when I'm sick, and I'm too sick to tell my story, it helps me sleep at night to know that there's a room full of people like you who are getting out there and telling the story for me.
Listening to the stories of the heroes, and in particular Bridget in this case, she motivated us to want to get involved and do more.
Just as long as you stand by me.
Sometimes a patient walks into our center, walks into our lives, and they make a difference. You know, I walked into the exam room to meet Malaya for the first time, and she was just special.
I want to help whoever I can. I mean, if I can just help one person to not be where I am right now, that would just be great.
If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall.
Cancer is impersonal, and it doesn't care how beautiful the life it destroys is. My wife endured hardship after hardship and always managed to maintain her grace and her grit.
Oh, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
In our 19 years of life, LPGA pros in the fight to eradicate breast cancer, my fellow professionals, the incredible Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey medical practitioners, our wonderful and generous life partners, and the passionate loved ones of all our heroes have joined forces in standing with our heroes to fight this disease. Unfortunately, Heather, Lisa, Bridget, Malaya, and others would run out of time. For them and for so many of our heroes who have survived and thrived, we continue to fight for a better future, taking a stand against breast cancer and helping to educate young women and our youth across the nation, providing funding for grants and programs so they can take their own stand, but stronger. A special friend and survivor has been with us the past 9 years, helping to support Life's mission. Amy Perella, along with her husband Joe, have led the charge to help all Life Partners funds make a significant difference in our Young Women's Initiative. Thank you to all of our Life Partners.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
We want to recognize a few marvelous friends here. We're going to start off with Joe and Amy Perella.
I needed the shelter of someone's arms. There you were. I needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were.
You know, our effort is designed to educate, to do research, and to assist in the treatment of this disease that afflicts so many people.
With sweet love and devotion.
I'd just like to read an email that I sent in the car on the way here to Bridget Spence's mother. Dear Dorothy, I hope you are well. Joe and I are on our way to the Life event, and I am thinking of you and Bridget. Our wish is that one day soon, no young, beautiful women are taken from us from breast cancer. Please be well and know that we are continuing the fight.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
This day is a day to celebrate, a day to really look at all the things that we've achieved by the philanthropic donations, but also the commitment to the Life event and what Val stands for. She's a wonderful person, and again, today's a day in which we bring it all together.
I want to stop and thank you, baby. I want to stop and thank you, baby. Yes, I do. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
We continue to stay involved, and we'll continue to stay involved with the foundation because what you do is extremely important, and we're proud to be a part of it.
Well, she smoked the drive. We had 115.
Smoked the drive?
Yeah, but I'm playing from the Reds. I have like a 100 yards. That's because you're a girl.
Now, you've had two Britneys. You're
I have,
second
yes.
Britney, right? Who hits it further, Lang or Lincecum?
You're really gonna make me answer that?
Yeah.
Well, since Lincecum's standing here, I'm gonna go with Lincecum.
Yeah, I think so.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. Feels so fine.
Well, I mean, I think it's really important for us to make sure that we're working with you and being able to reach out to the young women across New Jersey, across the country, to make sure that they're educated.
Oh, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you. It's like jelly, baby. Oh, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you.
Yeah, so.
That was actually pretty good. Just like honey to the bee, baby.
A one, a two, a one, two, three. If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
Come on now, I'm trying to play golf here, okay?
But you get such a high caliber field, and I think that shows how what the players think of you and what they think of what you're doing here. And it's affected a lot of people, so I think it's one of the favourite events for the girls to come and play in.
You'll always have my shoulder when you cry. That's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh.
I'm about to make a snowman, just hid it in the creek. Don't know what I'm doing anymore, I'm lying for, I'm still behind this tree.
You can count on me, 'cause I can count on you.
Cancer has truly touched us all on the LPGA. It was our friend and fellow professional Heather Farr who'd lose her battle with breast cancer at 28. This loss lit the spark that became Life and the Young Women's Initiative, bringing awareness to young women across the country so they know how to be more proactive about their health.
Wake me up inside, wake me up inside, call my name and save me from the dark.
In 2004, Life partnered with the Susan G. Komen Foundation to fund Komen on the Go, bringing awareness and education to young women and men at college campuses across this nation. We then joined forces with the Komen 3 Day to bring life to young women walking. And Life has brought so much to the Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey.
The monies that Val has raised, close to $12 million now, has gone into several initiatives, including the establishment of the Life Center and the LPGA's name in 2002. Our Life Center is staffed by 4 genetic counselors who have specialty training in cancer genetics. We work hand in hand with our GYN oncologist, our breast surgeons, to provide genetic testing in a timely fashion, as this may impact on surgical decision making. So it is very much of a team effort, and the support from the Val Skinner Foundation has allowed us to continue to fund that program. The reason why we have made such inroads in the treatment of cancer in general, and breast cancer in particular, is because we understand the enemy better.
With the Val Skinner Foundation, for example, helped us buy a very important tool to help us look at how individual cancers metabolize sugar and other sources of energy. They've also helped us look at genomics. What are the genetic alterations that are present in each individual person's cancer? We hope by looking at all these aspects of an individual person's cancer, the DNA, the RNA, the metabolism, that we can get a better picture to characterize the individual behavior of an individual person's cancer and help guide specific treatment.
We felt the best way to educate women and men about breast cancer was to start young. And in collaboration with Discovery Education, we developed a very innovative program based on our very innovative initial curriculum that was rolled out into multiple high schools, a program that has now reached over 2.5 million students and teachers.
My aunt and grandmother both had breast cancer.
I had an aunt who had breast cancer. I do know that after the Decoding Cancer, that these treatments, they do work, and it's not a death sentence.
Decoding Cancer is a groundbreaking standards-aligned curriculum for high school biology classrooms. It includes 5 digital lesson plans, an interactive virtual lab, a discussion guide for families who are struggling with the cancer diagnosis, and also career profiles for students.
Decoding Cancer has allowed us to speak more about it in class with our teachers because we have more discussions, and I think it's opened other students' minds that really haven't tried to understand cancer or don't know much about it.
How would you go about finding out that this cell is cancerous and this cell is not cancerous? They also learn about these different careers, and so at this level they are looking at the world and they're trying to figure out where they're going to fit into it. You know, this highlights 15 different careers that they can go into, and I'm not counting doctor and nurse.
When I went through this curriculum and learning about the cell cycle and learning about the virtual lab and going through these procedures, I've learned that there's so much that I haven't even been exposed to. So I think that I feel more prepared when it comes to leaving and actually pursuing a career in medicine. We really appreciate the contribution and work that the Val Skinner Foundation and Rutgers Cancer Institute has contributed to our understanding of cancer and to the understanding of cancer to the whole world. Thank you.
These are our students, and they are the future.
For almost 2 decades, Life, through our partnership with Rutgers Cancer Institute and Susan G. Komen for the Cure, has helped initiate and grow these Life programs. Moving forward, we look forward to building upon our relationship with the Young Survival Coalition.
Your donations make a difference. I'm proof of that.
Val has donated to the Young Survival Coalition, which is what I lean towards an awful lot. Because of the YSC, I have my girls. And that would not have happened without donor funds like yours.
This year, we honor 2 more youthful heroes who have embraced life and the Young Survival Coalition.
You're living life and then it's like, bam, you have a cancer diagnosis.
It's important that an organization like YSC exists because there's nothing else like it out there.
I was looking for other young women my age to just see a face, somebody who was going through the same thing that I was, that wasn't 60 plus.
It's really, I think, given me that leg up in even communicating with my doctor and really becoming an advocate for myself, which is what I really think YSC strives to do.
It gives us hope and it allows us to carry on in our journey and believe that there's something better on the horizon for us and that cancer isn't the period, but just the start of a sentence.
I'm 34 and I have to figure out little things like how I'm going to get my kid into a car seat. But when I went to YSC, you know what they told me? Jelly beans. That's how you get your 2-year-old in the car seat after a double mastectomy. Bribery!
Hello. Can everyone hear me? All right, AV working. Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Mershdorf. I'm the CEO of the Young Survival Coalition. Yeah. I'm also a wife, a daughter, a friend to many, and a breast cancer survivor.
My first experience with breast cancer was when my mother was diagnosed. My first real experience with breast cancer came 7 months later when I was diagnosed with the disease. At that moment, I realized, despite everything I had learned, I didn't have a clue what it meant to be a young woman with breast cancer.
I personally had no idea what was going to happen to my body, my sexuality, my memory when I went down this journey.
I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand.
A couple weeks later, I walked into my very first YSC meeting. Within a very short amount of time, 2 things became very clear to me. One, the women in this room knew a lot more about what was happening to me and going to happen to me than I did. And the second thing that I realized was I had a lot of questions that I didn't feel comfortable asking my doctor. But somehow I could ask these total strangers because they got it.
We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm. Just letting you know that you're not alone. I holler if you feel like you've been down the same road.
Whether they lost their hair, growing their hair back, 5 years out, all different ranges of the spectrum, these women got it. And these women became my sisters. So for all of you here in the room who have a sister, or maybe love someone who's like a sister, think about them for a minute. Put them in your head. That woman teaches you. She empowers you. She connects you to others, making sure you're part of the right community. And sometimes she even protects you. For me, YSC is sisterhood.
'Cause I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand.
As YSC grows, one of my jobs is to ensure that we are reaching young women everywhere in the United States, so that every young woman who's been diagnosed knows she's not alone and knows that YSC exists if she wants her.
I often tell people, my doctors might have saved my body, but YSC saved my heart and my soul.
We'll walk this road together through a storm, whatever whatever weather, cold or warm, just letting you know that you're not alone. I holler if you feel like you've been down the same road. Oh.
I was 12, I was starting 7th grade. I actually was in gym class and I got a bloody nose from, we were playing some game, I don't remember, and the bleeding didn't stop. So I went to my general practitioner to get blood work done, and they said, you need to go to a specialist, we can't read this. So within the next day, I think, my mom and I were at an oncologist's office, and they basically sat us down that day after looking at the blood work, and they said, you have leukemia.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round.
I didn't have hair. I wasn't going out shopping with my friends or, I don't know, hanging out with boys or going to the movies. I had to worry about things like my platelet count, you know, and I was sick all the time.
And you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out.
There was just an aura about her. It was someone who was very confident of herself, who had clearly been through a lot, and throughout our relationship I found out different things about what she had gone through, and some of it we would end up going through together.
We really were at the height of our lives. I mean, we were running, we were signing up for 5Ks.
Margie had just run her first 5K, and she was on this high.
About 2 months after we got engaged, I was doing like a self-exam. It was a day that I ran a 5K, and I was just so happy, and it was just, I don't know. And I felt something.
And I had to go off to do a work thing, and I come home, and she was depressed.
And I don't normally do self-exams. I know I should have. But for some reason I did that day, and right away in my mind I knew that it was cancer.
We were at my parents' house right before Passover, and it was like 7 in the morning. The doctor called. Marjorie's cell phone, doctors don't call at 7 in the morning, so you know that it wasn't a good call. We sat in my childhood bedroom, and she got the news, and I could hear it through, and you know, I consoled her. She was crying.
I was like, are you kidding me? You know, like, not only am I 26, not only am I planning my wedding, but this is my second go-round.
Well, I felt a little bit helpless.
We were all very shocked because I was so young and healthy, but what we later learned was that it was nothing I did. It was a genetic mutation.
We were pretty confident that she probably was going to test positive for BRCA1 or 2.
The next month of that was just a whirlwind, planning to get a mastectomy and all these other things, and then within all that, the genetic testing.
You know, the Dr. Baker calls our house, happens to be Margie's birthday, and says, well, you didn't test positive for BRCA1 or 2. Unfortunately, you tested positive for Li-Fraumeni.
And it's a mutation of the P53 gene, and that gene controls tumors from growing. And if your P53 is faulty, like mine is, tumors can just pop up.
I mean, she was devastated, but the one thing that is really what I love about Margie is she goes through all the emotions. It's important that she grieves and has that, but then she picks herself up.
And I'll rise like the day, I'll rise unafraid.
So there's no way to prevent cancer in my condition. However, we believe if we screen, and I stay up to date on my screenings, we can catch it early if it were to happen again.
Marjorie, as part of the regimen with people who have Li-Fraumeni, you have to go in for regular testing every 4 months, basically.
So I live in a state of anxiety all the time. Anxiety before every scan, anxiety before every blood test, before every breast MRI, until that one's clear, and then I wait for the next one. And in the meantime, I just try and live my life, but it's not easy, and I'm not gonna lie, I struggle a lot, and yeah, I'm sorry. It's really hard to live like this.
The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe.
You know, sometimes people go through cancer and they come to a place of healing or whatever. I feel like I'm always in it. Even though I'm not actively in cancer treatment, I'm always in what I like to call the woods.
She says, you know, I got it. You know, we're gonna do what we have to do. We're gonna do our research. We're gonna figure these things out, and I'm gonna get involved. I want people to know about this.
We gon' walk it out and
With the Young Survival Coalition, I co-lead a support group in State College where I live with another one of my friends.
She knew that in our community there was a need when it came to young women diagnosed with breast cancer.
As a young woman newly diagnosed, it was difficult for me to find others to relate to, as young women with breast cancer face many unique issues around their diagnosis and treatment.
It's game time, you know. She puts on her uniform, she puts on her armor, she gets out there and she does it because she knows that it's not about her.
I never want any woman to hear she's too young for breast cancer.
There's a greater calling, there's a greater good that she needs to get out there and work towards. And you know, this is gonna sound cheesy, but you know, I fall in love with her all over again every time she does it. Yeah, it's just really powerful.
After I was diagnosed with the breast cancer, we kind of thought at that point we'd still have biological children. Because for the breast cancer, I didn't receive chemotherapy or any hormone therapy.
I think most people think they're gonna have children the natural way.
I could probably carry a biological child. There would be a 50% chance it would have Li-Fraumeni syndrome. And for me, it was very clear, like, you know, I've always wanted to be a mom and Sean's always wanted to be dad, that we were going to adopt.
It was the right decision for us. We didn't want to risk passing on the genetic mutation to the next generation. We figured we'd nip it in the bud, and that's what we did.
And once you're officially approved, then the waiting begins, and that could be anywhere from a few months to a few years. We waited about 2 weeks before we got a call that a birth mother had chosen us.
Adele's birth mother said that she picked us out because of our work and Marjorie's efforts around breast cancer, because her best friend's mom must have passed away from breast cancer, and they used to do some of the walks together.
I'll rise up, rise like the day.
So it's kind of another kind of silver lining out of all this, that if it weren't for this, you know, who knows if the birth mother would have selected us.
I'll rise up in spite of the ache.
And Adele is a little firecracker, and she is my inspiration for everything I do. Being a mom is my most important job in the world. It's my favorite job in the world. I wouldn't trade any of it. She is what keeps me going, because she's everything.
She's my baby girl, although she definitely is a mama's girl.
I will rise 1,000 times again.